Hi there, you're right, and you're in the stellar Wyckoff session. So, besides the weekly Wyckoff pattern, the resistance and support levels, from this week onwards, I'll also cover the daily Wyckoff pattern that I observed. Reason being, one of you have left a comment that I find interesting, and sorry about not being able to do intraday, but at least I can try with the daily chart. So let's get started. So quickly, here we see these tags. The orange ones are the accumulation pattern or stages. The blue ones are the basically the distribution. So let me get those, probably not this large, yeah, bigger, so it's easier for everybody, especially those watching on the mobile phones. So just these few tags. You see overlapping stages. Reason because this is a level much higher than the accumulation that we have seen since 2022 all the way to end of last year. However, we can't eliminate the possibility that we are, or like Stellar is being accumulated at a higher level than before, given the industry development or Stellar's development by itself. Though, we can never eliminate the fact that this may actually be an LPSY. So that's why I'm keeping the blue tags over here as well. So when time evolves, when time goes on, we'll see whether we observe accumulation pattern over here. Let's say if there's a sign of strength, then probably we would expect a climb coming pretty soon after, even though there may be some downward movement before the actual climb. So be really careful when there's sign of strength. Don't expect it go all the way immediate after. There may still be some sort of testings coming before the actual pump. So that's the big picture. Resistance support level. This yellow line at around 20 cents is the first support. First resistance around 27 cents. Next resistance 33 cents roughly. And the next support, there's one over here actually, around 13 cents I would say. That's what I observed from the chart. So let's see what you think, whether you have similar views. I am going to just make sure this only appears on the weekly interval. So let's go to daily charts, and we see this trend for quite a while already. Actually, it started since February, and then now continuing all the way to June. So this downward trend has been there since for 4 months already. What's different this time is we're getting closer to a point. So I need to zoom in so you can see. So first time it's getting to this narrow triangle, and then it went down and found support at the yellow line. We talked about this earlier. This one is 22 cents support, and then it bounced up, tried to break both the white and the yellow, and didn't stay long until the next round, and then it hits this top edge of the blue box and started to come down again. So that's what happened over the course of 4 months, and that's what forming this downward trend, this blue box over here. Now we are getting closer to another triangle. Even though it seems is, so we have to be very careful. This line, even though I draw it over here, there may be a chance that it happens before September. So the crossing, the exact crossing is near September, first week of September. However, if you take reference of here, the crossing was late April. The actual breakout actually happened late March. So it's almost a month's time before the cross section happens. So be really careful what's going to happen, especially when we get closer to the end of the month. So the price of seller is approaching this yellow line, and we may see something like what happened here in late June, just a week ago, or early April. So try to test this line, test this support, and see how strong the support or the demand would be. You see this long green candle, not candle, the volume bar, right? Compared to the rest. And then, right now, the trading volume has been pretty low. If there is such a same pattern in terms of volume happening again, the chance of this breaking back to the upper half of the blue box would be more optimistic. If there's no such volume supporting that, then the chance is slimmer. So we have covered the usual stuff. Let's get to the fun new stuff. The Wyckoff in the daily chart. So let's put in the tag. I don't want the yellow, I want this. So here, let's say that it was a buying climax. And let me think, is it the case? Yes, this probably is. And then let's find the selling climax. Okay, we're making quite a bit of assumptions here because the daily chart is pretty noisy and it's just not as easily observable compared to the weekly chart. So assuming this was the selling climax and this was the automatic rally, and we had a second test, and then it went up, or even this can be a spring if you like to call that, because it's lower than the selling climax. We had a sign of strength, but it retreated a bit before it went up. So we know the peaks are one lower than another, and that's okay in the sense that we expect that happens. So what or where are we now if this was the buying climax? Obviously there was a second test, and then I would say that's a sign of weakness. And well, this can be an LPSY, but it doesn't matter much now because we have well past that point. Let's say this one just a week ago was the new selling climax. The new accumulation cycle has begun, and we had our automatic rally just 6 days ago roughly. So that's where we are now, and currently it's like it's going through a second test. So whether or not the price can continue or like can make a bound and do another like sign of strength or buying climax, it all depends on how much demand this time Stellar can gather. So hopefully you find the new Wyckoff on the daily chart interesting. I'll keep this going forward, and I hope this new element can bring in more frequent insights compared to just looking at the weekly. So later on I will have to clean up this so it doesn't mess up our weekly chart, but you can see, right, even if we tag all these, and let's say if we have a buying climax, on the weekly chart it's actually an LPSY, the last point of supply. So be really careful when we use this on the daily chart, that is actually happening, these mini distributions is actually happening within a bigger or a broader context. So don't get carried away thinking the price would go crazily high or crazily low, depending on which stage on the higher level timeline we're at.